Hey guys, Scriptuber here with another video, and it looks like they're kind of revealing a little bit about how this is going to play out in terms of the main leads in the Star Wars Rey movie, and I just think it's funny because there's a lot of chatter about who it's going to be and who does it relate to, and they're thinking about like sequel characters and all this stuff, and so I just wanted to talk about this briefly just because I don't know, again, I just think it's funny. This is coming from, I guess, Daniel Richtman, I guess, is pretty good giving us some information about these films and stuff. He obviously has connections, so that's kind of where this is coming from. The Daisy Ridley-led New Jedi Order is currently casting the 3 other main leads, which include Rey's 2 apprentices and the main villain. No details yet. Rickman also reported recently that Angela Bassett took a meeting at Lucasfilm with regards to a Star Wars role, and we've speculated that it could be for this movie. Could she be playing the villain, or perhaps she was contacted about another supporting role for which the studio was hoping to attract some star power. Rickman also added that the film is not being set up as the first of a new trilogy, but it could set up a sequel. Last week, we shot down rumors of the film being titled Episode 10, A New Beginning. For now, the only name the film has been given internally is New Jedi Order, though keep in mind they could change their mind and rebrand it, as they haven't announced an official title yet. Filming is being planned for the UK either later this year or top of 2025. Okay, so as far as that goes, if you were going to do this, I wish they wouldn't even be making these films, but if you're going to do this, A New Beginning is a far better title than New Jedi Order. New Jedi Order is like the most lazy title ever. So I wouldn't, if they don't want it to be episodic, so just call it A New Beginning then. I don't know. But the problem is it is a sequel to Episode 9. So you've got a problem here. Like they've kind of pigeonholed themselves in a lot of ways. So if you're going to do a sequel to The Rise of Skywalker, but you're not going to make it an episodic sequel, how does that work? Because it is a sequel. So the way that they go about their business of like how to structure this whole thing is really kind of bass-ackwards as far as I'm concerned, but that's the first thing. But anyways, A New Jedi Order is the most lazy title of all time. But the other thing about this is like, who are these like co-stars, right? So, which will include Rey's 2 apprentices and the main villain. And I was seeing people on Twitter being like, I hope it's Poe and Finn. And I'm like, really? Like, you gotta keep in mind, this is 15 years after The Rise of Skywalker. I don't even know how old Finn was in those movies, but like imagine Finn's gonna be training when he's like, I don't know, he's got to be pushing like late 20s, right? He's got to be close to Ben's age, maybe pushing late 20s, early 30s in Rise of Skywalker. Let's for intents purposes, let's say he's 25, right? That's he's somewhere in that range, right? That means he's 40. You want to see a 40-year-old apprentice? like Luke was like how old was he in Empire? In A New Hope, he was 17, 18. So Empire is like 21, right? You really want to see a 40-year-old Padawan? That's pushing it, man. Like and then of course that goes against like Yoda reluctantly trained Luke and said he was too old. I'm not against like people that are younger adults or whatever training, but that's pushing it as far as I'm willing to go. I do not want to see a 40-year-old Finn being like, what do I do next, Master Rey? And I certainly don't want to see like a 55-year-old or whatever it was, a 50-year-old Poe as an apprentice. So, as far as I'm concerned, the Finn Jedi ship has sailed. If they even attempt to go that direction, it's not going to work. I mean, it's not going to work anyway. This film's going to suck, but that's going to be really dumb. And then and then if you say, okay, well, Finn's her buddy off screen training, and so then he's sort of her apprentice, but also her colleague, and sort of in the same range. Like maybe he's a Jedi at this point, but even then, I mean, the ship sailed. I mean, to me, it's going to feel kind of weird. I mean, it's going to feel weird no matter what with this movie, but so 2 apprentices and the main villain. What are they going to do? That's the big question. What kind of villain are they going to have? I've said for a long time, like, Rey was so absolutely crazy powerful by the end of this trilogy that there's really nowhere to go in terms of creating tension in terms of a villain. I guess they could go, like, just keep expanding, have a Star Wars Galactus that she has to fight or something that's eating planets. Like where are you going to go, right? Because according to official canon, when she touched Ben, she healed his mind from the darkness. So she essentially healed his wound, but also healed him from the dark side. And I made a joke a couple of years ago that, episode 10 is going to be called The Chase, because this is going to be Rey trying to chase down the Sith so she could touch him and heal him from the dark side. So her powers are so ridiculously stupid that there's really, they're going to have a very difficult time creating any kind of tension with any villain, as far as I'm concerned. The only way you could actually create tension in the next movie is if Rey dies. And then others are left to pick up the pieces, whether it's Finn and Poe and these apprentices or the apprentices or whatever. Because you have to have a problem that has to be solved, to have a villain that has to be defeated. The main character, good guys, if that's your main characters, they have to have faults. Like, they have to have challenges, and there's just nothing there for her. There is nothing challenging for her. There never has been anything challenging for her. So it's an impossibility. So KK and her plan to do the self-insert mega superstar Jedi has now left herself in a bind, in the sense that how are you going to write an interesting villain? And if your villain isn't interesting, it doesn't matter what your protagonist does. That was one of the problems with the sequels, is that Kylo wasn't really that interesting because Kylo was kind of weak and pathetic. Snoke was super interesting at first because you assumed he was extremely powerful. He electrocutes Kylo. He's basically running everything. But then he was killed so easily that it was kind of like, what? And then he brought back Palpatine, who Rey just handled, no problem. So it's super, super necessary to have an extremely competent, scary villain to create tension. Like, you think of the OT and you have the incredible capableness of the Empire and the overarching, tentacles of the Empire everywhere. And that's what created tension. And like, you were never like, you went into it like Luke, Vader versus Palpatine. You're like, Palpatine's still going to probably kill these dudes. Like, there's no way they're going to be able to handle it. And so then they had to go a totally different route, right? Where they completely shifted. And instead of power versus power, Marvel superhero, which they did in The Rise of Skywalker, which sucked. It was, love and family and everything that defeats the Emperor. So it's a very different thing. So how they're going to manage to do something remotely interesting with how powerful Rey was and how weak the enemies ended up being at this point, and then 15 years later, you assume she's just like beyond a god. So anyway, no, I don't want to see Finn. I think that ship has sailed. That'd be so stupid. There's no way to write a compelling villain at this point, unless they kill Rey off. I don't see where you can even go now. Even killing her off is going to be difficult because of how powerful she is. So you guys let me know in the comment section what you think. Like, this is just, it's kind of silly. And again, if they make it Finn and Poe or like anybody from the sequels as their apprentice, it's going to be super corny because these are older men now. Older or like middle-aged or older men. So that's going to be corny. Like, can you imagine if Finn had like a braid? He's like 40, 45 years old with a little Padawan braid. Anyways, it's just silly. And I don't think Oscar Isaac's coming back. He joked maybe if he needs a new house, he'll come back. So he thinks it's a joke at this point. They all think the ending of the trilogy was stupid and think the sequel sucked. Rey's coming back for the bag. Daisy Ridley's coming back for the bag. Don't blame her. Good for you. Come back for the money, despite the fact that you've made it very clear that the sequel trilogies were divisive and sucky. So I think this is going to be a failure no matter what they do. But what do you guys think? Do you think they should go old man route? Do you think they should just have 2 new apprentices? Do you think there's any possibility of making a main villain? And if you do, let me know in the comment section what that could possibly be. So anyways, let me know in the comment section what you think. As usual, guys, thanks for watching this video. If you do like this content, please like and subscribe. Always helps the channel. And check out anything else on my channel as well while you're at it if you feel like it. And have yourselves a really good day.